because it can be if you allow it. There were times where I got emotionally attached, like with, the guy I'm seeing now. We got emotionally attached while we were still both working in the business. And so our scenes on camera were truly really, really intense, really passionate, very, very intimate scenes. Even when they were wild and crazy, there was an intimacy between us. So it was actually very, very good sex. But a lot of it was just going through the motions. The guy might not have thought so at the time. But
did you ever orgasm when you were working on camera?
Not really. I mean, actually, during oral, I did a couple of times, but it was only with the guy that I'm still dating, because he's the only person that I would actually really let go with enough to allow myself to. And truthfully, on camera, I mean, guys, it does not take like 5 seconds for a girl to have an orgasm. It doesn't. It just doesn't. It was all about camera angles and opening up to the camera and staying in a position just long enough for them to get the shot and then moving into something else that looked good for the camera. So you didn't really have enough time to have, but it felt really good and I enjoyed it. I allowed myself to enjoy it, but not usually to completion, but it felt good.
What do you think of the Triple X Church?
I think it's really cool. I think the concept is really cool. I think it's very controversial, which I love controversy. And I think that they get a bad rap from both the porn side and from the Christian side, because a lot of Christians are very, very conservative, which I understand. However, being a conservative Christian doesn't really leave you open to witnessing to the actual sinners. It kind of limits you to the good people who are searching. It's allowing people to come to you as opposed to going to them. And you can't reach out to the porn industry without being involved. And it says in the Bible to be in the world, not of the world. And I think the Triple X Church gets into the business without being of the business. And I think it's really cool.
Did they help you?
They did. Actually, they had a girl, I talked with Craig, I believe it was Craig, a couple of times by email, and he was very supportive and wanted me to come by the booth at AdultCon, I think, or something, and I didn't actually make it. And then, he wanted me to come sign, but I didn't feel really comfortable going and signing at the booth, considering I had just left the business. And I didn't truthfully want to throw it in other people's faces because I didn't think it was very appropriate at that time. But he had a girl that emailed me for about a year afterwards. She emailed me about once a month to see how I was doing. And she was really sweet. She was only like 19. And I don't know if I ever emailed her back. But I really liked when she would email me. And I valued the emails. I just would read them and save them, and I wouldn't email her back.
Did you ever talk to Shelley Lubin or Heather Beach from JC's Girls?
I didn't. Oh, no.
Have you heard of JC's Girls?
You know what? I clicked on the link on your site, and it went nowhere.
My fault.
I mean, it said that the site was no longer available or something.
Huh.
So I'll have to look it up.
Okay.
I did see, I went back and read the articles that you've written and read the things that she said, and I think it's really cool. I mean, truthfully, anytime that anybody, not just in the porn business, anytime anyone comes to Christ, anytime that anyone turns their life around, I think it's an amazing thing. And just the business is just something that I can relate to. So it's just really cool to see people come from the adult industry and turn their lives around.
How do people in the Christian world relate to you as an ex-porn star? I mean,
fortunately, I go to a very casual, laid-back church, and I'm so open about things. Anyone that I feel needs to know, I tell. And the people in my church, I'm very open. This is my testimony, You're going to know up front that this is what I used to do, and you're either going to accept me or you're not going to accept me. And I'm going to take it either way. I don't really care, because God accepts me, and that's all I care about. And so far, there's nobody that's had a problem. I mean, there's nobody that's, other than the guy that greeted me.
Can you tell that story?
Yeah. I just retired from the adult industry, and I went to church, and the greeter at the door was like, "Oh, are you and Lee still doing that show on Spice TV? We were doing Spice Hotel." "You're my favorite porn star. You and Lee have the best show on TV. What happened? Is it still showing?" And I'm just like, "Can I have my bulletin, and will you shake my hand? And this is church? I mean, perhaps you're confused. Are you kidding me? Seriously?" Yeah, his favorite porn star. And then he did it again a couple weeks later. He said something else about something about a movie. And, I saw this movie and you were in it. And, and he wanted to know, I forget what he asked me, but I was just appalled. And I asked the pastor to please either have him removed as a greeter, or I would remove myself and go to a church where I didn't feel like, somebody that was actually, I don't feel like someone should be working or volunteering for the church unless they're in a right place with God. It's like, go to the church and fellowship and worship, but don't be someone that's actually trying to encourage and help other people unless you feel like you're in the right place. And he obviously wasn't. So yeah, that's the only time I've ever felt awkward or uncomfortable in the Christian environment. People back home don't really know, as far as I know. And if they do, like my dad, still has people every Sunday. They pray for Aria, and they pray just he doesn't say who it is. He doesn't. I mean, even though I'm not Aria anymore, he just prays for that whole part of my life, and that God will use it, and that God will turn it around for the good. And I just think it's really cool that every Sunday at my dad's church, little tiny little church, very very conservative, very structured, proper church, they pray for Aria. I love it.
What's your sense of porn fans, the people who are really into porn, spend an hour or more a day with it? Do you have the sense that these people are leading happy, fulfilled lives filled with, meaningful relationships?
What do you think?
Why do you think it's like a symptom of like some inner sadness?
They're sad, they're lacking in other ways, and I think that it's become an addiction. It's become almost like it fills a void, but I think that they feel a certain dirtiness, and I think their relationships are very lacking in intimacy, probably partially because they can't really let themselves go because they feel like they have so much to hide. I think I don't know, it's like they're trying to fill a void with something, and then a lot of them I think don't really love porn, but I think they're so addicted to it and so into it and so turned on by it that they can't seem to get it out of their minds, and so they just keep going with it, but they feel it's not something that most people will brag about. Most people don't say, "Oh yeah, I have a porn addiction, I'm so proud, you want to see it?" No, they don't show their porn collection to their girlfriend or their wife. They secretly go at 1 o'clock in the morning after she falls asleep, and they sit there and jack off the dirty pictures. Or they do it, when she's at work or something like that, and then the wife has no idea and wonders why he wants anal. Where did you learn this? No. I don't think that they're happy, fulfilled people. I think they're people that are searching for something and are lost.
Porn is for losers. I hate to sound judgmental, but...
Yep, guys, it is. It's something, if you have to rely on porn to get your rocks off, then wow. Sex is supposed to be something beautiful. Sex is supposed to be an intimacy. It's supposed to symbolize relationship between man and God. It's supposed to be that intimacy where two become one. And it's the bond. It's marriage. It's Adam and Eve. Sex was, they became one person, one flesh. And it's a very intimate, beautiful, intense act. And godly. It was ordained by God. He's the one that created sex. And as a beautiful act, not as a sinful act. And it was made for marriage. And I am just as guilty of sex out of marriage as anybody, and still struggle with purity because it's very difficult, because I have had so much sex that it's very hard to just go cold turkey and just, that's a constant struggle. Do I feel like I'm, excused by God because I've done so much anyway, so who cares? No, absolutely not. Sex is still wrong, even for me now. But that's, truthfully, we each have our personal struggle,
The porn industry talks a lot about couples porn. You starred in a lot of movies that were for couples. How much do you think that this couples porn is really for couples, or is it mainly just for, lonely men who feel better about themselves if it's called couples porn?
I think couples porn is just, truthfully, if you have to watch a movie